Alhamdulillah alladhi akmalana.
All praise is due to Allah. He perfected our religion for us, completed His favor to us, and honored us by sending the leader of all messengers. I praise Allah as He is perfect in every way, and He deserves to be praised at all times. I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah alone without any partner. He is the true supreme sovereign who deserves all worship. I further bear witness that our leader and prophet Muhammad is Allah's worshipping servant and messenger. He tread the soundest course, had the finest conduct, and was sent as a mercy to all of creation. O Allah, grant your commendation and protection to your worshipping servant and messenger Muhammad. O Allah, be pleased with all his family and companions, as well as all who follow their path until the day of recompense. Servants of Allah, you must observe taqwa of Allah. That is the best provision to have in this world, as well as in preparation for the day of resurrection. Always remember that Allah created you to worship Him alone and none else. Therefore, you must sincerely devote all worship to Him alone and perform the best deeds that you can. The truly fortunate person is the one who continuously endeavors throughout his life to sincerely devote all of his worship to Allah alone and to follow Allah's messenger. May Allah grant him commendation and protection. Dear Muslims, when an individual is keen to protect his religion, ensure that his practice is correct, and keep his beliefs sound, that is a clear sign that he has been endowed with sound mind and guided to follow the correct path. Servants of Allah, a Muslim's religion is what leads him to all happiness in this world and to every success and lofty rank in the hereafter. That is because the guidance and clear evidences of Islam protect him from going astray and keep him far from paths leading to misery and deprivation. Allah's messenger, may Allah grant him commendation and protection, was the keenest of people to seek goodness for his ummah, and he remained kind and merciful towards them. He directed them to a comprehensive characteristic and noble trait which enhances every individual's practice of Islam and enables him to please Allah. That quality can be found in the statement of the Prophet, may Allah grant him commendation and protection. Part of the completion of a person's religion is for him to leave what is of no concern to him. This is collected by Al-Imam Malik in Al-Muwatta, At-Tirmidhi in his Jami', Ibn Majah in his Sunan, Ibn Hibban in his Sahih, and Abdul Razak in his Musannaf. Although its chain of narration is broken, it has several routes of supporting narrations. It has several routes and supporting narrations which raise it to the level of Hasan al-Ghayrihi. In fact, several leading scholars of Islam graded it Sahih, including Al-Imam Ibn Hibban, Al-Allama Ahmad Muhammad Shakir, and Al-Allama Muhammad Nasiruddin Al-Albani, and details can be found in their respective books. May Allah the Most Exalted grant all of them His mercy. Al-Imam Ibn Abdul Barr, may Allah have mercy upon him, commented that this hadith is an instance of a phrase with few words which contain many important and comprehensive concepts. It is a statement that was not made by anyone prior to the Prophet. May Allah grant him commendation and protection. When a person's Islam is complete, he does not engage in words or deeds that are of no concern to him. This is because Islam requires that a person fulfill its commands and avoid its prohibitions. Therefore, if a person's practice of Islam is complete, that necessarily entails that he would avoid the things that are of no concern to him. Those being prohibitions, doubtful matters, disliked matters, and an excess of permissible things, meaning what is beyond the amount of them which he requires. All of those are matters which are of no concern to someone if his practice of Islam is complete and he has reached the level of ihsan, which the Prophet, may Allah grant him commendation and protection, explained to mean that you worship Allah as though you see Him, and although you cannot see Him in this world, He always sees you. That was mentioned in the hadith of Jibreel about Islam, Iman, and Ihsan, which was collected by Muslim in his Sahih from Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him. When a person worships Allah while bearing in mind how near he is to his Lord, as well as how near his Lord is to him, that person would attain completion. This entails that he would avoid all that is of no concern to him and remain engaged in what is of concern to him, having sound beliefs, completing his Iman, performing righteous deeds, and pursuing all of the permissible things that are necessities of life. Contrary to that is the person who wastes his precious time doing what he was not created for, by preoccupying himself with words and deeds that are of no concern to him and which he does not require. By being that way, he ends up diverted from what benefits him, raises his standing, and enables him to achieve the loftiest of aims, and he suffers the worst loss as a result. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy upon him, commented that words and deeds which a person does not require and which he engages in aimlessly will be against him rather than in his favor. This is understood from a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he said, if someone has Iman in Allah on the last day, he must either say what is good or remain quiet. Here, the mu'min was given one of two choices: saying something good or staying silent. Thus, it can be understood that saying something good is better than refraining, and refraining from saying something bad is better than saying it. A person of Iman is instructed to either say what is good or remain quiet. Therefore, if he chooses to contravene this directive by engaging in excess talk which does not contain goodness, those words will be against him, since he will be doing something disliked in Islam, and doing what is disliked makes him incomplete. This is why the Prophet, may Allah grant him commendation and protection, said, part of the completion of a person's religion is for him to leave what is of no concern to him. Thus, when someone engages in what is of no concern to him, his Islam becomes deficient, and that would be against him. However, it should also be kept in mind that if someone's Islam is incomplete, that does not necessarily mean he deserves punishment in the hereafter or being subjected to Allah's anger. Rather, his rank with Allah decreases. Engaging in what is of no concern includes a person acquiring certain types of knowledge which are beyond what is necessary, while neglecting ones that are necessary and which lead to making his heart sound, purifying his soul, benefiting his brothers, supporting his nation, and uplifting his ummah. Engaging in what is of no concern also includes neglecting to protect one's tongue from uttering useless words. It also includes speaking about people and their circumstances, properties, possessions, and other such things that yield no benefit. It further includes prying into what people say and do in their homes while with their families and children, and having no legitimate reason for seeking out such details, rather merely prying into personal details about them that are of no concern to anyone else. Engaging in what is of no concern also includes speaking about things that one has no sound knowledge about or experience with, rather merely speaking to pass time and gain people's attention. This may even lead to indulging in matters that are prohibited in Islam, such as speaking about lewd things, describing private details about others, accusing innocent women who have Iman of committing immoral acts, circulating rumors, and spreading lies. Sometimes such things are done while being labeled as analysis or predictions. However, in reality, they are mostly based on conjecture and recklessness, as well as having the audacity to present falsehood as truth. When it comes to such matters, it is not correct to indulge or speculate. It is not correct to indulge or speculate, use them for support, be tricked by them, or act based on them. With that being said, we should bear in mind certain factors that assist a person in leaving what is of no concern to him. Among those factors is remembering that there are more obligations than there is time to fulfill them all, and that our lives are short. Abu Hurairah and Anas, may Allah be pleased with them, narrated that Allah's Messenger, may Allah grant him commendation and protection, said, the lifespans of my ummah lie between 60 and 70. Only a minority go beyond that. This was collected by Tirmidhi and Ibn Majah in their Sunan works, as well as Al-Hakim in his Mustadrak with a Sahih chain of narration. If we consider that such a life is so short that it is barely enough for obligations, is it conceivable that it could accommodate excesses and what is of no concern to a person? An individual will be held accountable for how he used his life. At-Tirmidhi collected a hadith in his Jami' with a Sahih chain of narration from Abu Barza al-Aslami, may Allah be pleased with him, that Allah's Messenger, may Allah grant him commendation and protection, said, the 2 feet of each person will not move on the day of resurrection until he is asked about his life and how he spent it, the knowledge he had and what he did with it, how he acquired his wealth and how he spent it, and his body and how he used it. Furthermore, there is nothing a person utters which is not written in the record of his deeds and for which he would not be recompensed. Thus, one must realize that he is accountable for his words and that they bear significant consequences. Allah said, we have indeed created the human being, we know what his soul whispers to him, and we are nearer to him than his jugular vein, as the 2 angels, one at his right and the other at his left, are present and alert. He does not utter a single word without there being an angel ready and waiting to record it. Ibn Kathir, may Allah have mercy upon him, commented that the generality of the phrase, he does not utter a single word, conveys the meaning that the angel writes all of his statements, without exception. There is a hadith with a Sahih chain of narration from Alqama al-Laythi, from Bilal ibn al-Harith, may Allah be pleased with him, who narrated that Allah's Messenger, may Allah grant him commendation and protection, said, an individual may indeed speak a word that pleases Allah the Most Exalted, and that person might not think that the word has the consequence it truly has. However, because of it, Allah would record that He is pleased with that person all the way until the day that person meets Him. On the other hand, an individual may indeed speak a word that angers Allah the Most Exalted, and that person might not think the word has the consequence it truly has. However, because of it, Allah would record that He is angry with that person all the way until the day that person meets Allah. Due to that, Alqama al-Laythi, may Allah have mercy upon him, used to say, there are many statements which this hadith of Bilal ibn Harith prevented me from making. He said that in reference to the threat mentioned in the aforementioned hadith. This is collected by Malik in his Muwatta, Ahmed in his Musnad, and At-Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, and Ibn Majah in their respective Sunan works. As it relates to wanting attention and prominence, that is a motive which is blameworthy and despised. A person tested with that motive would not reap anything besides wrath from Allah and from the people who have Iman. Servants of Allah, you must continue to observe taqwa of Allah. You must also continue striving to emulate Allah's virtuous worshipping servants in their avoidance of the words and deeds which are of no concern. They are the individuals whom Allah guided, and they are the ones whose minds are truly sound. May Allah enable us to glean benefit from the guidance in His book and the Sunnah of His Messenger. I say this much, and I ask Allah, the Most Great and Most Majestic, to forgive me, you, and all Muslims for every misdeed. Allah is certainly the Most Forgiving, the Bestower of Mercy. All praise is due to Allah, who has complete knowledge of every single thing. Our praise Allah as He is perfect in every way. He has no partner, spouse, or offspring. I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah alone without any partner. And I bear witness that our leader and prophet, Muhammad, is Allah's worshipping servant and messenger. He was a prophet sent with mercy and guidance. O Allah, grant your commendation and protection to your worshipping servant and messenger Muhammad, as well as to his family and companions, all of whom were leaders of sound insight and guidance. Servants of Allah, it was reported that Al-Hasan al-Basri, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, a sign that Allah has turned away from a person is that he lets the person become occupied with what is of no concern to him. Therefore, any discerning person who hopes in Allah and the abode of the hereafter needs to focus on what concerns him, safeguard his tongue, use his time wisely, and count his words among his actions. When a person considers his words as part of his actions, he would not have much to say beyond the things that are of concern to him. Ibn Rajab, may Allah have mercy upon him, explained that the main objective of a person leaving what is of no concern to him is safeguarding his tongue from saying useless things. It is enough of an evil for a person's words to preoccupy him and keep him away from many types of goodness, which would lead to the betterment of himself, his life, and his final ending. Servants of Allah, you must continue to observe taqwa of Allah and endeavor to do all that would benefit you in this world and the hereafter. Additionally, always remember that Allah, the Most Exalted, instructed you to invoke Him to grant commendation and protection to the seal of the prophets, leader of the messengers, and the individuals sent as a mercy to all creation. Allah said in His clear scripture, indeed Allah grants His commendation to the Prophet, and the angels invoke Allah to grant him even further commendation. People of Iman invoke Allah to grant the Prophet commendation and to grant him protection as well. O Allah, grant your commendation to Muhammad and to the family of Muhammad, just as you granted your commendation to Ibrahim and to the family of Ibrahim. Indeed, you are most praiseworthy, most glorious. O Allah, bless Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, just as you blessed Ibrahim and the family of Ibrahim. Indeed, you are most praiseworthy, most glorious. O Allah, be pleased with your messenger's four successors, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, as well as all of the messenger's family, companions, and those who follow their path until the day of reckoning. O Allah, most kind and generous, be pleased with us along with them by your pardon, favor, and kindness. O Allah, grant strength to Islam and the Muslims. O Allah, grant strength to Islam and the Muslims. O Allah, grant strength to Islam and the Muslims. Protect the lands of Islam and defeat its enemies, as well as all who oppress others and all who spread corruption. O Allah, Lord of all creation, unite the hearts of Muslims, consolidate their ranks, rectify their leaders, and make their word one in conformity with the truth. O Allah, grant victory to your religion, your book, the sunnah of your prophet, and your believing, worshipping servants who sincerely struggle in your path. O Allah, grant us safety in our lands, and make our leaders and authorities people who are righteous. Support our leader with the truth, and grant him righteous aids. Guide our leader, the custodian of the two holy mosques, to successfully do all that you love and are pleased with. O Allah, direct our leader, his deputy, and their brothers to all channels that would produce good for your servants and their lands. We ask this of you, to whom we shall return on the day of reckoning. O Allah, grant us the best outcome in all things and protect us from humiliation in this world and punishment in the hereafter. O Allah, Lord of all creation, protect us from your enemies and our enemies in whatever way you wish. O Allah, Lord of all creation, protect us from your enemies and our enemies in whatever way you wish. O Allah, we turn to you for defense against them, and we seek refuge in you from their harm. O Allah, we turn to you for defense against them, and we seek refuge in you from their harm. O Allah, we ask you to guide us to do righteous deeds and to avoid all that displeases you. O Allah, we implore you to grant us your mercy and protection. O Allah, rectify for us the affairs of our religion which protect us from displeasing you. Rectify for us the affairs of this world which contain our livelihood. Rectify for us the affairs of the hereafter to which we shall finally return. Make life a source of more good for us, and make death a source of rest for us from every evil. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from your blessings coming to an end and from being afflicted all of a sudden. O Allah, cure our ill. Have mercy upon our deceased. Have mercy upon our deceased. Allow us to achieve the goals we have which are pleasing to you, and make the final deeds we perform ones that result in lasting reward and continuous goodness. Our Lord, grant us good in this world, grant us good in the hereafter, and protect us from the torment of the hellfire. O Allah, grant your commendation and protection to your worshipping servant and messenger, our Prophet Muhammad, and to all of his family and companions. And all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all creation.